After 22 women accused him of varying degrees of sexual misconduct, embattled Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson seemingly broke his silence yesterday, posting video of him working out. We haven't heard from Watson since his last formal statement. That was back on March 16th. Max, what is your reaction to Deshaun Watson working out on Instagram?
Well, as you said, we haven't heard from him in a while, and I already know he's a great football player. Deshaun Watson is a great quarterback. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. So, okay, he's working out. You know, this is not a court of law where the standard of proof, the burden of proof, is on the person making the accusation, and the standard of proof is high, beyond a reasonable doubt. This is really more about the court of public opinion. And if it was one woman or one or two or a handful even making an accusation, you would think, well, and he's claiming, or his lawyer would claim, well, it's some sort of a conspiracy. You think, well, let's see the facts come out. When there are 22 different women making a very similar claims about Deshaun Watson, then in the court of public opinion, that's what we're interested in hearing addressed, not the football of it, because I find it hard to believe he's going to be able to get out on a football field this year for the NFL, in the NFL, if he doesn't address that. So he's working out. Tell me something I don't know. You're good at football. No, tell me something I don't know. Tell me some kind of a response to 22 women making virtually the same or a very similar accusation.
There's no disagreement here. Even though this is a debate show, this is not something that is debatable, to be quite honest with you. You're Deshaun Watson. I respectfully ask this question, and I say respectfully because he's innocent until proven guilty. These are allegations that have been levied against him. And that's all we know right now. Doesn't look good. Where there's smoke, there's fire, as some people would say. Walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it ain't a mongoose. You got 22 different women accusing you of similar heinous acts. There's no question that's something that needs to be probed into and investigated and what have you. And he doesn't look very good right now. To know that's what's going on, to know that you have basically been unseen, and to put out a workout video right now, I'm not going to lie, I don't think that was smart.
Yeah.
Because it gives the impression that you don't really have any concerns. That's for your lawyer to handle. Well, that's not how it works when you have that amount of allegations levied against you. The reality is that the NFL, just based on the accusations alone and the rules stipulated in their collective bargaining agreement, Commissioner Roger Goodell, literally, without any kind of criminal indictments or anything leveled against Deshaun Watson, he could literally say, you ain't playing football until further notice in the National Football League, because you have impugned the shield with all of these accusations coming out. If we put you on the field for this upcoming 2021 NFL season, we will be excoriated. There's no way around this. We can't let you out on the field. And to know that that's your reality, because he knows that, and to put out a workout video, but we haven't seen a single press conference. We haven't even seen you walk in the streets with a camera in front of you and addressed any of these allegations that have been levied against you. I know your lawyer's probably advising you not to say anything, and I totally get that part. But because of the amount of allegations leveled against you, if you ain't going to say anything, don't say anything and don't be seen. Just go ahead and do what you got to do. But don't go out and give the impression that somebody else is handling this and you got your mindset on playing football when you know you play for a league and in a league that is overseen by a commissioner who can literally today, based on the allegations alone, go to the Players Association and go to you personally and say, here's your money, but you will now be on the commissioner's exempt list. You will not be playing football for the 2021 season. Roger Goodell could do that right now. And knowing that, and you still going to put out a video with you working out and getting yourself. I mean, I know he's going to work out, got to keep himself in shape because it's possible he could play, and he's got to be ready. Please, I'm not saying he shouldn't be working out. I'm saying for that to be the public image that you've disseminated at a time like this, I don't know who advised him to do that, but it wasn't smart.
Yeah. Max, what you said was spot on. Stephen A., you as well. I will just add four words here as the female on the show. It feels tone deaf. That's what it feels to me. We'll leave it there. Chef Curry did all he could do. Jaguars for the opportunity to compete and earn a chance to be a part of this team. I know it will be a challenge, but it is a challenge I embrace. I am dedicated to taking the direction of our coaching staff and learning from my teammates. I appreciate everyone's support as I embark on this new journey. Max, do you have a problem with the Jags signing Tim Tebow?
I do not have a problem with the Jags signing Tim Tebow, nor do I think he needs to apologize for the opportunity. Tim Tebow is one of the greatest college players of all time. His college coach is now the head coach for Jacksonville, which is his hometown, by the way. And he is an enormous celebrity in the media. And everyone always said, well, he's a great athlete. He could be a good football player, just not quarterback. Okay, so they're giving him a shot at another position. By the way, he still has to make the team. I will say this, however, Stephen A., a lot of people have used Tebow's situation to discuss Colin Kaepernick, to link the two somehow. I don't think they're linked. But I will say this. I think it's good to do that. I think it is good to use anyone who gets an opportunity, especially if you feel like they don't deserve it, or they haven't earned it, or others are more worthy, to use that as a chance to bring up the fact that Kaepernick hasn't even been given a tryout. No one has even looked at him. And I would say, Stephen A., that it would be nice for Tim Tebow, who has been given this opportunity. He doesn't have to apologize for it, but it would be nice for him to mention Kaepernick's name, to say, hey, I've been given this opportunity. A lot of people are upset about it. I'm very grateful for it. You know, Colin Kaepernick should also get a look. I know the two aren't linked, but I like linking them, and I think Tebow should too.
I have a problem with it. And in the interest of full disclosure, I texted Tim Tebow a couple of weeks ago, and I told him that if anybody deserves, something along this line, it's him. Just from a human perspective, I think that he's one of the great, great people that I've had the pleasure of meeting in this business. He's a really, really good dude. His heart's in the right place. He's very charitable and philanthropic with his intentions and his actions. He's a pillar of that community, especially. Was a star at Florida State, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm happy for him, meaning Tim Tebow specifically. But when you look at, just the totality of the situation, once again, if I'm going to bring up white privilege when I brought up Steve Nash getting the job in Brooklyn, is this not an example of white privilege? What brother is getting this opportunity? Now, that makes people uncomfortable because we're talking about race. When I say something like that, let me be the first to say, I don't give a damn how you feel. I mean what I say. It is white privilege because that's not something that's happening for any brothers out there. You've never played the position. You've been retired from the game for years. When you did play, you were a quarterback on the NFL level, which you were not that good at. You had an opportunity when you were an active participant as an NFL player to participate and play tight end, play special teams and stuff like that, but you wanted to be a quarterback. And now here you are in this position. Why do I bring that up? That's not to point the finger at Tim Tebow. It's to remind everybody is that this opportunity doesn't happen if Urban Meyer is not the coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville Jaguars were 1-15 last year. They absolutely stunk. As far as I'm concerned, you could have got an equipment manager to play for that squad as bad as they look, okay? They didn't think about calling Tim Tebow then. They didn't think about calling Tim Tebow the year before that when they were having their problems. But all of a sudden, Urban Meyer comes there. And as a result, Tim Tebow gets the job, gets an opportunity, rather, to get a job with the Jacksonville Jaguars. He got that job because of the relationships. And as I've stated on many, many occasions on this show, when George Floyd ultimately was murdered by Derek Chauvin, the cop, and you saw people rioting and protesting in the streets, it wasn't just about him. It was about the symbolism of what transpired, because black people have repeatedly felt like we have the proverbial knee on our neck. We constantly have to scratch and claw our way. And when we see someone of a different ilk, of a different ethnicity, getting opportunities we know we would never get, that's where the word white privilege comes from. The words white privilege come from. And you yourself, Max, have been on the record. And I saw you saying this to somebody a couple of weeks ago when I wasn't on the show. You were talking about how white privilege needs to be addressed, but you're about lifting everybody up. You're not about giving up your white privilege, et cetera, et cetera. And my response to that months ago when I had that conversation with you is that if you have a 50-yard head start and you get to race and we're both going at the same speed, I could never catch you. In other words, there's no way to eradicate white privilege without white individuals giving up some of their privilege. And the reality is that Urban Meyer is in a position where he can exercise. I'm not saying he did it for Tim Tebow because he was white or anything like that. It has nothing to do with their race in regards to that. I'm simply saying when you see an opportunity like that happen, it is clear that it happens for white folks and it doesn't happen for everybody else.
What I would say,
that's problematic.
Stephen A., I think that's an interesting point. The reason I say you need to lift up instead of ask people to kind of step down is this is human nature. The people living their one and only life,
Sure.
if they're given an opportunity, are usually, by and large, most people are not passing that up because of some larger social issue that may be abstract to them, right? So because that is the reality, then I think the best course of action is to lift up. When I say to you something like when you were protesting the process, because you said a black GM would never be given the latitude to tank for a number of seasons.
Correct.
My point is not to say, therefore, no one should be able to if it's a good strategy. We can debate that another time. Right. My point is just insist. Then it's incumbent upon those who are privileged to insist that everyone is given that latitude and shown the respect as a human being to make the best decision.
Hold on, this is an important question. Let me get in here, Stephen A. How do they insist it? How are you going to insist it? So if other people aren't getting the right opportunity.
For example, on this show, we discuss African-American coaches. And Stephen A. will talk about the paucity of African-American coaches and use this as a platform to address it and bring pressure to bear on the league. I lend my voice to that every single time, absolutely, and will oftentimes bring that up as an issue independently because it's an important one.
And I appreciate the fact that you do that more than you'll ever know, and I've always given you credit for that, Max. The only thing I've ever challenged is that that's not going to happen. In other words, when you talk about people surrendering their privileged positions and insisting that others get lifted up, they can insist all they want to, but if it doesn't coincide with folks surrendering some of their privilege, the level of progress that we aspire to have is not going to happen. And so what I'm saying is it's not going to happen. So in the end, what it comes down to is this. If you look at a guy like an Urban Meyer, because I want to stay on course here with Tim Tebow, I love Tim Tebow. I truly do as a person. I really do. And I'm wishing him nothing but the best. And he knows that, and I'm not rooting against him. But it didn't go unnoticed. When you saw Marcus Spears, when you saw Ryan Clark, when you saw Damian Woody and a host of other individuals, it didn't escape any of us that all of these African Americans that were speaking, even though they didn't go where I'm going, they made sure to remind everybody this wasn't an opportunity earned. Tim Tebow has a relationship with Urban Meyer. And because he has that relationship, years removed from football, having never played the position, here he comes and he finds himself in a position in his mid-30s to try to play a position that people have toiled and worked and scratched and clawed their way just to try to get that opportunity. He's getting it because of his relationship. And it's not something that black people can brag about, because those opportunities do not happen for us.
And I'm focusing. I hear you. I think those are very good points. And what I'm focusing on is Tebow himself. The reality is, once that opportunity is presented, the individual will almost always take it for themselves.
He should go for it, yeah.
Therefore, and then what? That's why I'm saying, whether or not there's a Kaepernick link, here's something Tebow can do. Insist on the link. Say, hey, I'm getting this opportunity for reasons other than just purely football. There's a guy right now very visibly being shut out of opportunity for reasons other than football.
It's not going to amount. You're right, but it's not going to amount to anything, and you know it's not going to amount to anything.
I don't know about that. I don't know.
Yeah, you do. It's not going to amount to anything.
Let me just say this really quickly here, because it's also a novel idea. I think it's important to use our platform and talk about these issues, and I'm grateful that we do that on the show. But everyone, especially people with a platform and privilege, need to do more than just talk about it. What are you doing in the community? Where is your money going? Where is your time and energy? So there needs to be action steps beyond just chatter, and that's how things really start to move and shake. Let's leave it there. It's the first week.